that is mentioning that, she and others are talking about going celibate. And those that know what celibate means, it means no intimacy, no physical intimacy. Let me say that much. So there are men that are responding to that and say, okay, cool, we respect that. Well, we go financially celibate. And that became a problem. Let's check that out.
So it has come to my attention that the fellas are now starting something where they're saying they're going to be financially celibate, meaning that they're not going to be spending any money on a woman until marriage. Okay, this is my thing. What woman in her right mind can you actually date and not spend no money on her until y'all get married? It's like y'all are upset with women who are becoming celibate and saying, well, since y'all saying that y'all want to wait until marriage, we just ain't gonna spend no money until marriage. A woman who got common sense and is not gonna deal with no scrubby man, that's not gonna work with. More and more, y'all come up with things to make y'allself more lonely. Y'all gonna push the male loneliness epidemic even further with that foolishness. The women are making more money now. We're more independent. We're becoming more financially stable than men. And this is not to bash men or put men down. But y'all saying y'all ain't finna spend money on women no more like that. A lot of y'all already ain't spending money on women now because you don't have it to spend. Like, in all honesty, y'all want to be lonely. Y'all want to be in a position where you walking around angry because you can't really get the attention of a woman. And until you do all the things that a man needs to do, which is provide, protect, and lead, y'all are going to be constantly having the same issues that y'all are having regarding women.
I don't see it as a problem if a woman wants to be celibate. I don't see that as a problem at all. You prevent pregnancy. You prevent getting diseases. You prevent attachments with people that you may not be able to get rid of. If you're celibate and the person is you with is down for something like that, it can be a real connection outside of just what's physical. So, and also your body, your choice. And I don't stand against that choice at all. Definitely your body, your choice. But let's speak about it on the side of men. What is the positives if he becomes financially celibate with you? He doesn't have any kind of expectation, because when men start spending too much money on you, they have an expectation. And a lot of that expectation is going to be physical intimacy, right? So if he's not spending money on you like that, then that's what it is, right? So it can be something pure or whatever. Now, most men who's saying this, they're not saying that they won't take you out on a date. They're not saying that. They're not saying that they want to say, hey, you know what, let's go on vacation. And, hey, I got so much money on the ticket. You got so much money on the ticket. Y'all do it together. Then y'all working as a couple together, right? So he's not saying that. But what he is saying is, when some of you get in relationships with them and you short on bills and you're calling him, or you're talking about your nails and your hair being done, you're calling him. That's what he's talking about. He do not want to take the role of a husband, and he's not your husband. So he's going to kind of keep his money in his pocket. Remember, his money, his choice as well. And you have to respect that. Now, she mentioned that it's going to increase the loneliness crisis that men are experiencing here in the United States of America. Let's not let this be confusing about why you have a loneliness crisis. You have a loneliness crisis in America right now, and I'm going to tell you when it happened. I know exactly when it happened. When shame was removed, that's when the problem started. Men naturally will not respect a woman that too many men had, for one, or y'all today say high body counts. Men naturally won't respect that, okay? Some dress today, which is considered normal dress, some dress today that would look like something that's on the blade. Men don't respect that. Men will sleep with that, but men don't really respect it. That's not what a normal man would make as his girlfriend or his wife. You understand? There is an archetype of what most men would think what a wife is, and that isn't one of them. Okay? Once men have realized a lot of domestic skills is not really here anymore. A lot of, not all, but some in society have taken more of a masculine role and responding in masculine ways. That's also something that a lot of men don't get down with, because if you have the masculine, you gotta have the feminine, kind of like the yin and the yang, right? So a lot of men just feel like, some of them are lonely, and that's true. And for some men, they may travel overseas. And we're not talking about those who are tricking overseas. We're not talking about them. But also another thing, that the higher a lot of you go up financially, the harder it's probably going to get for you to even get somebody. And a lot of men, a lot of times, don't want to deal with women that's high up on the financial scale, period. Because it's kind of, men are, or what they always say about men, protect, provide, right? Well, if the man can protect you, but he can't really provide, he can't really do his normal role. Sometimes men who set up well, they may want to go somewhere else to get a woman that is more at what they speed. For instance, did a research one time on ChatGPT, and I was going back and forth with it about this subject matter actually, and I asked it. I say, here's a scenario: a woman's a lawyer, she's making $400,000 to $500,000 a year, or a woman who works at Dollar General, right? Based on male psychology, which one would be the better wife for the man, and why? Do you know what ChatGPT said? The woman worked at Dollar General would be the better choice for the man. So I said, well, okay, why? Well, as they mentioned, especially that professional lawyer, divorces are very high. Anytime women make a lot of money, divorce rates are extremely high. Then you factor in education. Women who are more educated are quicker to divorce than others. Versus, let's say, the woman at the Dollar General, probably more so your ride or die types. You give her a pretty good life. She more to stay with you. A lot of times fill those traditional roles if that's what a man looking for. So I was kind of like, wow, okay. I said that's interesting. And it talked about the higher the education, the more issues you may have as a man, and it will be harder for them because women naturally want a man that make more. It don't matter how much they're making. So if they're making $200,000 a year, they want to do making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year. That doesn't go away with women. That's just part of how women think in general. They want a man to actually do better than them. They don't want it what they doing better than the man. So if you are a dude that's making a certain amount of money and the girl at Walmart, Applebee's, Dollar General, a place like that would be the better place for you to actually go find your wife. Just that's what AI was saying. But, to each his own. So all these conversations, that's another thing that get on a lot of men's nerves. These conversations are really silly. It really is, because that's called what it is. People are grown, and I don't have to go more further into that. And a lot of men, especially this day and time, is not going to, even ride with that. So, you make that choice. You have every right to make the choice, but I just know a lot of men is not going to ride with that. So, but the financial celibate part, another reason they keep talking about that, because every time they go out on dates, they're spending hundreds of dollars and y'all ghosting them, or whatever. Like, that gets expensive. And a lot of men are priced out of the dating market as well, just how expensive things are. You see how high gas is? Gas is about $5 a gallon. And I'm in Texas saying this, okay? Don't even talk about if you're in California or New York, where gas is right now. Man, men can't keep paying all that. And food prices that went up. Everything that went up because of the fuel. Yeah, he got to be highly selective on who he choosing. So yeah, financial celibacy may just be the route to go all the way around in his life. So don't get mad at him for thinking about his money, because if he broke and on the street, you're not gonna give him a dime.